This is a Fatal 4 podcast.
Black Mass! Cover! To retain, and Lars Sullivan kicked out at two.
Didn't get elevated.
Welcome to Didn't Get All of It, a show that very much depends on somebody screwing up this week because we are out of cool clips to play in the intro. I am one of your hosts, Paul Griffin, and joining me is the rest of the Fatal 4, like Cody.
Yeah, I'm ready to kick down the door and talk some wrestling.
Also here is Pro Wrestling Noah.
Do you think the Forbidden Door has like one of those springy door stops? And like, you know, someone like does Will Ospreay ever like trip over the springy door stop and it goes and it wakes up everyone?
I think it has a soft close where you can't slam it.
Yeah, one of those.
Speaking of slamming it, joining us is a very special host, the host of Didn't Get All of It Japan, B-Rob.
I imagine it's one of the doors with the little like the bumper pushes, you know, like when you go to certain venues or whatever, they got the little push bar. I think it's one of those. And then like if you don't use that little Allen key to unlock it, it just doesn't open back up when you try to go back in.
I think
so. I think the little Allen key is what?
Those little saloon doors, those little tiny ones that cover up just your torso region, and cowboys walk through them and they swing back and forth. That's what it is.
Those used to be very prevalent in restaurants or whatever. Cody, you might can talk to that, right?
They don't have any culture in
Boston. Yeah, you always got to say door when you're going in and out of it, so you don't crash into a waiter holding a bunch of trays of food.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Door.
I remember that shit. Oh,
hey, no, I don't. To answer your question, I don't know if the Forbidden Door goes boing boing, but I know I go boing boing when Mina Shirakawa walks through the Forbidden Door.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right, fellas?
I think social media definitely does that.
I am disappointed with Cody's inability to insist that the door goes both ways.
I was waiting on it, but you got it.
B-Rob thinks about it more than us because he likes the show the most. Speaking of doors, this week on the pod, we are talking about AEW Forbidden Door, as well as WWE's week of misses and Bo Dallas talking to himself, and a surprisingly eventful episode of SmackDown with angles and developments galore, which we're going to get into like right now because there's a ton of stuff to talk about. And on the day we're recording this, there's something that we have to go watch at a certain time. So, guys, who watched SmackDown last week? I know this is a crazy question because it was an eternity ago, but they advertised CM Punk, so I know we all tuned in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was seeing Friday night.
This was probably my favorite CM Punk appearance.
Whoa!
Because he got his ass beat?
Yeah, because exactly.
Oh, God damn it. I was going to say, B-Rob finally saying something nice about CM Punk?
Yeah, he got his ass stomped in the mud.
I liked it because they did the Ryu and Cyclops from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 handshake. Him and Cody Rhodes did that.
Mm-hmm. I did enjoy the promo, the interaction with him and Paul Heyman, so that was pretty good. But that was mostly because of Paul Heyman. So
I mean, Heyman's extremely good. Both of them
was obviously super into him. He was excited to be there in his hometown of Chicago.
I'm impressed that Chicago still turns out for CM Punk. Like, they use him. Every company is like, CM Punk's in town, and they're like, yeah, he fucking lives here. Let's all go. They just can't wait to see him again. And he doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I don't
That's
get it.
Loyalty.
He's just a fun name to chant in your hometown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He is a wrestling. He is a wrestling trope now.
Well, he had his little promo to kick the show off, and Paul Heyman interrupted. And I forget what the ultimate goal of this was, but it was to get the Bloodline involved with Punk a little bit. And Heyman had said when Punk leaves Chicago that he wants Punk to take him with him because the Bloodline's mean to him now. And This is like the first time we've actually talked about the Bloodline on this podcast, I think.
Well,
Because they are
this
so
is
fucking boring.
This is the first time that anything interesting has happened with
this
them
is
recently.
the most boring act on TV. And I thought that after WrestleMania, they'd make it interesting. And it really took this week for us to like talk about it. But I'm kind of mad about it.
I have
we'll
a
get to that
question.
in a minute.
Where is Jimmy Uso?
I think he's hurt.
Like shoot hurt or?
I think so.
Oh,
I don't think he got shot, but I think he's hurt for real. But if he got shot, he would have been back after a week.
I guess
Talk more about that later.
that is a good point because it's right now it's just Solo and the Tongas, right?
or as Punk said, a bunch of fake ass Usos.
Oh.
Yeah, he called them fake Usos. So later in the show, we cut to the back with Kayla, who I think was interviewing somebody. And the interview gets interrupted with loud banging on the garage door. And it's revealed that Drew McIntyre has beat up CM Punk in the parking lot and is now dragging his bloody corpse to the ring, which he does, and he drops him on the stage. And
That was a great reveal.
everyone's like, what the heck? We thought you quit. And he didn't talk to anybody on this show.
So let's point at the overarching point of this show. The thing that they pointed out at the top of the thing on social media prior to the show even starting. The extra security that they had at the venue because of the Wyatt Six. This was the most specific ass security
We
ever.
have to save that for later in the show because I have lots to say about that. Because this added security did nothing to the guy who quit and interrupted this show. They did nothing to the guy who debuted on this show who didn't work there. Like, they did nothing.
And there was just
Before we
random
jump to
acts of
that,
violence that there was nothing. Anyway,
we mentioned Kayla. She announced last week that she is leaving WWE in a, I guess, Instagram post or something. She posted after 8 years that she's setting it down her WWE microphone to pursue her next chapter. And at one point, she even said, if she wasn't leaving the wrestling industry, why would she leave WWE, essentially? So I think there's speculation that she won't go to AEW. I think she's going to AEW.
I mean, why though?
I don't know. Just a hunch.
They don't need any more backstage interviewers.
No, they don't. They
They
got
had
Alex
a really
Marvez
good
that they
one.
don't. Yeah, they got Alex Marvez that they don't use. They got a toot back now. I mean, they got freaking Alex Aprehentes, who's with every Spanish wrestler and on Spanish commentary back there doing shit. I mean, they don't need
and
any
Renee and that.
I'm about to say
Lexi girl.
Renee's really all you need. She's really good at it.
18
Yeah.
commentators. We could do a whole
freaking
podcast.
RJ
about
City.
too many fucking people. But yeah, she posted a nice thing. She's leaving though. I think it's pretty clear. Like, I think Meltzer was talking about how she's the girl on SmackDown, but they're clearly invested in their other announcers right now. Also, like, what do you get out of that job? Like, it's if you're bored with it after 8 years, go fucking leave. I don't blame you. So she's on her way out. I think she's also still around next week, but I think this is her last week. So we'll see if she's quiet quitting, mails it in on SmackDown. But yeah, back to the SmackDown talk. The other thing that happened that was big eventful was they set up a match for the main event, which was, what was it? Orton and Kevin Owens and Cody.
What? No, the main event was Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa
Oh, it's just that. Then they set up the 6-man for the paper.
for Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Yeah. So Solo versus Cody, which we were told last week was like the SummerSlam main event. And Cody steamrolled his ass. Like, I don't think he got any offense in this whole match. And then the Tongas ran in And then Orton and Kevin Owens came in and just completely dismantled them. Like, again, this is not a threatening group at all. And then Jacob Fatu debuts. And Corey Graves screams at the top of his lungs, "We know who that is. The rumors were true." And my first thought was, no, we don't. No one fucking knows this guy. Just because he's wrestled a little bit in MLW or something doesn't mean everyone watching SmackDown knows who Jacob Fatu is.
Only Twitter nerds who know who Jacob Fatu is.
So everyone loved this debut, and B-Rob, I'll ask you about it in a second. But I did look into this fella a little bit, and everyone's like, "Wow, he's so great, you got to check him out." And then I throw up a video, and it's like, he does Samoan drop, he does big splash, he does big kick, like
he does big jump. He jumps off stuff all the time. It's crazy.
Wow, another big jumping, big kicking, big dropping guy.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Do you think he could do a spear and a spike too?
Oh, you bet he can.
I bet if you headbutt him, it hurts.
Of course, that's like DNA bred tropes for Samoan people or Tongans.
B-Rob, tell me why I'm wrong about this guy. Why is this the one Bloodline guy that's actually good?
Because he is better than all of them, except for, I mean, I would say Tama Tonga is probably a close second. But like, for a guy his size, which his size is dramatically reduced since the last time I really seen him, tearing shit up. I mean, he is so agile. Yeah, he used to be like I would say 2 shades under Umaga. That's how big he used to be. But he just agile. He's charismatic. I mean, he is the total package. Like, if you could take the best parts of what we've been presented with so far and blend it into a person, it would be Jacob Fatu.
But isn't Roman Reigns supposed to be the total package of the Samoan group?
Come on now.
I don't know. Like, I'm still not. That doesn't convince me at all.
If you put Jacob Fatu in the ring with Roman Reigns, he would run circles around him.
Yeah.
Go to concessions.
That's
get
because
food.
Roman wrestles so slow.
He does.
Look, I've never seen a Jacob Fatu match, but I refuse to believe that. Roman Reigns is a very good worker. I don't think there's anyone
because I mean,
that's outworking Roman Reigns. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, to be slow, plotting, methodical, and hit your main set of moves. Yeah, Roman Reigns is the tits, but Jacob Fatu is far more than that. I mean, I believe
Roman Reigns is far more
like
than that too. It's just that's
because I mean, he has the backing because that's what he's portrayed for. I mean, we only got a sample size so far, and I feel like once they put the machine behind this dude and they give him the WWE polish, be fucking unstoppable. I stand on that. But I mean, but then again, it's like business stuff too. I mean, you put a picture of Roman Reigns up and you put a picture of Jacob Fatu up. I mean, obviously you're going to have a couple people be like, are they brothers, cousins, or some shit like that? Some racist shit. But more likely they're going to lean towards Roman Reigns because he has the look.
But like, if they are,
I don't think he has the look. I think they just told you he does. They spent the last decade insisting that Roman.
Well, I mean,
something that he's not.
Well, that's the point then. So, I mean,
they lied until you believed it.
Well, there you go. But like, what is said about Jacob Fatu is true. Other than, I'll say this one tidbit or whatever, and I don't know the validity of it. I mean, you have to do some research and look it up. I was sour on him for a little small bit because I heard he no-showed a charity event and took the money. But other than that, I don't know.
That's unfortunate.
Well, sounds like he didn't make a big splash at that charity event.
I see what you did there.
Maybe he's not all big splashes.
I know, but like it's hard because like when you have a Tongan or Samoan or whatever, you're pigeonholed into a certain move set or whatever. But like I do firmly believe that, you know, he's a little bit more than that. Obviously, those things are in there because, you know, it's homage, you know, pay tribute, so on and so forth.
There's other moves that they could do though. Like they don't all have to have the same.
I know
move.
that, but every black person got some goddamn freaking cutter or a freaking downward spiral freaking flatliner
a scissors kick.
So I mean, scissor kick, exactly. I mean,
Booker T every time.
It's just a thing wrestlers do. All wrestlers have some kind of bullshit like this. So I mean, whatever, man.
I personally have not been impressed by any of these new Bloodline.
Yeah, I mean, how much have you seen them since then?
But I also
they
don't believe
debuted
them,
and that's it. And then they don't do shit other than just stand there and grimace.
unless
To
they
where
change.
like I'm watching them in the G1 and doing all this other cool shit, and then here we are just like have them chained and bound to a storyline that like people like Paul don't really give a fuck about. So it's just like
unless
how
they
can
start
you
presenting
really
them as a
shine?
threat. Like they had that whole segment backstage where Solo told Paul Heyman that Roman Reigns isn't coming back unless they start presenting them as a threat. I think the moment Roman Reigns comes back, he just demolishes the entire stable. Like,
And that's the thing about stables in general.
they're
Or
not
whatever.
threatening.
They don't do shit. None of them do shit because like you'll have somebody like Randy Orton that'll come out there and single-handedly demolish a whole fucking trio.
yeah, but
it's
the
just,
other
it's just
Bloodline,
stupid.
at least the Usos like won matches and were considered. They didn't need Roman to hold them up the whole time. Like they all kind of did their own shit. They came off threatening because they were. But
Well, yeah, I mean, but so is it their fault then? I mean, it's the people that's booking the show.
well, yeah,
That's what we're talking about.
that's what we're complaining about.
New Bloodline sucks. None of them have impressed me. Solus Co has negative aura.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's
That
not-
that's
Hey,
the right level of solo.
hey, God damn it. Don't you start that aura bullshit. You fucking trendy hipster motherfucker, you.
What?
God
He ain't
damn,
got no aura.
everybody-
It's not my fault.
He doesn't know what
Everybody
aura
on the
means.
goddamn aura.
Only
No
aura we
I
talk about on this
acknowledge is
show is
aura
aura
Mensa.
Mensa.
Yeah, you
I
got it.
thought, isn't aura what Titus O'Neil used to say?
Yeah, I think he still
God
says
damn.
it too.
Damn you, Noah. Damn you. The good shit.
Like Solo just put on the Weeknd's wardrobe from 6 years ago and thought we would believe him as a boss. He's not.
He wears a
he's-
glove.
Well, yeah. All right. Let's not. We can poo poo on this all night because, like, I'm not gonna sit
Well-
here and try to defend the whole thing or whatever because it is lame right now. I'm just waiting until we get to the meat and potatoes of what this is gonna fucking look like in the end.
I have a
That's what
question.
I'm ready for.
If all of these guys are related, why do they all have different last names?
I'm related to a lot of people with different last names.
That's to say, you have cousins,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah. Don't you have cousins?
But aren't like three of them brothers?
Maybe they got married and took their wife's last name.
Jimmy J Solo are blood brothers.
Okay, two different last names.
That's not
Camacho
his
and
real
the other one are
That's not-
related, are brothers.
That's not the real names.
Okay, but even their okay, I understand they're playing characters, but their characters are related.
Hey man. Whatever.
Look, there's too many.
You
Bloodlines.
nitpicking something bullshit. It's
too many
stupid ass
bloodlines.
wrestling.
No more, please make it stop.
Well,
No more blood.
there's allegedly another bloodline.
I don't
person
like that
arriving.
Damn it.
though. Yeah,
but-
I don't like that though.
One bloodline person who won't be showing up anytime soon is Sika of the Wild Samoans, who passed away this week.
Mhm.
Sika is Roman Reigns' father, who passed away
Right.
at the age of 79.
For
Long
the record,
life,
that's not what I
man.
meant by no more bloodlines. R.I.P.
Yeah, Roman posted about it on, I think, Twitter.
Mhm.
So that's a bummer. No one.
Yeah,
No one likes
wanna
that.
lose their pops.
But I think he was all well before our time, so we have nothing else to say.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember vaguely of watching some of the old stuff when I was a young man because I got a little bit of time on y'all, but like I always thought they were scary as fuck, but good stuff.
A little bit of time.
Look, WWE has never strayed away from using real life death in their angles. We'll get into that more later when we talk about Raw. So I think that they should use this as fuel to the fire for Roman Reigns' big babyface return.
I'm sure they will.
Like
Yeah,
he needs
they-
to come
they
back
use some of that lore.
pissed off. You know, his dad is dead. He's like lost all control of the bloodline. He needs to just come back and destroy all of these jobbers and be big babyface hero Roman Reigns again.
Yeah,
big dog.
That's what it's ultimately leading to. I mean, him, Jay and Jimmy back together, maybe even with Solo on their side later on, because he'll get betrayed once the other Uso come in. So it's just cool stuff.
It's
Eventually.
I mean, it's all going to be on its own island, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, and I kind of like that. There's no titles involved. It's just them doing their own thing over there.
Boy, there better not be
that's
titles
cool.
involved.
What do you mean? They're sort of centered around the WWE Championship right now. They're wrestling
but-
the champion at the pay-per-view. PLE,
That's
whatever.
I ain't talking about like right now. I'm talking about when they do the shit later, when they split and they have the two factions on either side opposing each other, family versus family, bloodline versus.
That's what you think
bloodline.
until Solo Sikoa beats Cody Rhodes for the title at SummerSlam.
Solo is not
Why would
beating
you
Cody
say
Rhodes for
this
the title. It's the
Stupid as
dumbest thing I've
shit.
ever heard.
Even Paul is saying you stupid. Come on now.
I've only heard one dumb thing this week, dumber than that, and I'm not getting into it because I don't want to hurt his feelings. But I assume that SummerSlam ends with Cody being saved by Roman Reigns, but they pretend like he's going to come out and beat up Cody, and then he like takes out Solo after like fist bumping Cody or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about all that, but I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, whatever, man. Just get that shit done so they can do whatever the fuck they're gonna do afterwards.
Speaking of SummerSlam, they had a little announcement this week. If you guys want to hear about that,
I do.
Today, we're thrilled to announce that all 3 WWE mega events are rolling through Indy. In partnership with the Indiana Sports Corp, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania are all making stops at the iconic Lucas Oil Stadium. Tell them, Pat.
Oh, holy hell, the holy trinity of wrestling is going down in beautiful Indianapolis. Lucas Oil Stadium has hosted the Super Bowl, check. The College Football National Championship, check. The College Basketball National Championship, check. Olympic trials, check. And of course, an Anvil smash or two, double check. It all kicks off Saturday, February 1st with the Royal Rumble. And I, for one, am synced up.
so yeah. First of all, Saturday Royal Rumble.
I like that.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, Saturday, February 1st.
Hell
So
yeah.
that's the first big event. I think people saw this and are like, what? They're getting 3 massive pay-per-view events in one year? That's not happening.
Yeah, they didn't announce the years for the latter two, which
No.
is weird.
This is kind of a weird thing, like, that they're announcing an entire, like, city that is hosting several events, but they're not close together, and they're, like, you don't really have to announce it that way, but I my hunch is that this was a big money deal from
Yeah,
the
you got to
city
do
of
that.
Indianapolis. I think it's cool that WWE's finally going indie. Do you think that they are going to book all of the local indie talent, like Indy Hartwell and people who have history in indie wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all going to go over just like when they go to Scotland, they have to get all the Scottish people on there? Are they going to get all the indies?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be very funny if Indy Hartwell was like, "You got to put me on the show.
It's my
That's
name.
my hometown."
Pat McAfee's definitely going to be in the Rumble. We
Of
can
course.
count on
Sure,
that.
he was this year.
Yeah, also, is this the first ever Royal Rumble to be in February?
I don't think it's the first, but it might be.
Might be.
February 1st. That doesn't count.
It's February 1st. It's also my dad's birthday. So
Yeah, but you're still
Hey,
being
happy
like,
birthday,
I can't believe
Dad."
it's already February. Like, it's that time of year. Can you believe it? The January flew by.
I
So-
wonder.
you know what? I think a black person should win the Royal Rumble.
Because
Good way to
it's February,
start off Black History Month.
Yeah,
That's true.
Trick
I wouldn't be
Williams,
opposed.
huh? Maybe
Oh, that would be fun.
that's my
As
prediction.
long as Booker T not on commentary.
Actually, Booker T has to be on commentary for that.
You fucking, I will show up in person. Hey, so Cody, to answer your question, every Royal Rumble, as per Wikipedia, has been in January. This is the first one in February.
See?
You can go and
Yeah.
change all that. Wikipedia
That's
is
what
not
I
a
said.
real source.
That's why I said as per Wikipedia.
Like, do you remember when Wikipedia was first a thing and people would like go on to the page for Canada and say that people from Canada were like 15 feet tall and shot laser beams from their thighs? That was just something you could do in the
Maybe
early
they
days
don't?
of Wikipedia.
I mean, you can still do that.
Yeah. They just catch it quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
remember when
like,
we were in school,
I think.
teachers would refuse to let you use Wikipedia.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I remember a teacher would say, Wikipedia is not a source, you can't use it. And also, don't go to that website, Geocities. She was an English teacher, and she called it Geocities. And I'm like, it's not like Geocities is an encyclopedia-esque website. It is basically what 90% of the websites were at the time.
Like when you could just have a website.
But like, I
have
think
website.
it's
We have one. We have one.
yeah. Go to that Fatal
Geocities.com/Fatal4Pod. FOUR.
All sorts of fun gifts there.
Gotta lock down an Angel Fire page too.
Yeah.
But it's a
Can we
smart.
start a pro boards?
We probably could
Business.
still do that.
Yeah, but it's a smart business money move, right? You got your high paid talent in Pat McAfee, and then you got I think that what they did to they're gonna do the SummerSlam in Cleveland, right? So you got Logan Paul. I mean, it's good that you use your big money talent, right? To
Yeah.
sell these events.
Okay, so can we use like John Cena or something and get one of these in Boston?
Well, yeah, they
Raw
gotta
on
do
Monday.
Boston.
What are you complaining about?
I mean, yeah,
that's Raw.
I
We
think
haven't had like a major show. It sucks.
you get, like, all
probably
the other
never-
shows
Just
all
had
the time.
AEW Big Business.
Let's
What's
say
more major
AEW
than
comes
that?
to your town all the time.
Okay,
NXT, everything. You get all the shows regularly.
we need a PLE, one of the big fours at Fenway Park, probably SummerSlam because the weather is not good for the others. But
I don't know if you heard. There is not a Big Four anymore. He said the 3 mega events. Survivor Series is not on the menu anymore, folks.
What?
It's War
Not a
Games
big
now.
It is War Games now. They don't even do Survivor Series matches there.
Yeah. Don't have time for that.
I wish they still would.
Yeah, those are
I kind of
fun.
do too.
Like, you can do your War Games, but also have the 4-on-4 tag.
Or 5. Either or. Fun stuff.
Wanted to talk a little bit about Raw before we take a break. One of the long-running stories throughout this episode of Raw this week was Liv Morgan helping out the Judgment Day and like continuing her shenanigans.
Yeah.
She had a promo with Zelina at one point, which Cody, you said was great.
I loved this. I thought like Zelina really shined here. She like was
She had some
confident,
attitude.
had attitude. The crowd bought into everything she was saying. Like she got chants like, organically started, like some zingers and one-liners that went over well. I don't know. I was super impressed with Zelina
Time and
here.
opportunity is all you need sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they have a match. Is it on Raw?
Yeah, in Boston this Monday.
There you go. Another big match going to the big event. But yeah, at one point she coerced R-Truth into putting the tag titles on the line against JD and Finn in the main event. R-Truth thought she was Carmella. And
That was really funny.
Yeah, it was funny. She also got Dominic a match against Rey Mysterio. And in that Zelina segment, Rey Mysterio came out there and Dominic shoved him. And Liv was like, "Oh, you stood up for me." It was like really... I think she's great in this. I know
Yeah.
people have been complaining about like allegedly sending nude photos to Dominic and him showing people and the parallels of the Vince McMahon allegations. But
Yeah,
I don't... I think it's kind of a reach. It's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
But also like people just do that. Like
I do really like the reaction image that's been going around of Carlito looking at the phone.
yeah.
It's like, ooh.
I like the like. I'm not saying people do what Vince does, by the way. I want to make sure that's very clear. But it's not unfathomable for somebody to send nude photos to someone and then some guy be like, "Dude, did you see what she sent me?"
Hey man, this is the business model that Snapchat was built on, bro.
Yeah, she should have got Snapchat. But also, like, it just shows who doesn't touch grass or titties on Twitter.
Also, I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a straight white male, but like I've seen a lot of people, saying that this story is very misogynistic and things like that. But that's not how I'm perceiving it. I'm very much perceiving it as like a strong woman who is smart and manipulating men, stupid men, to get what she wants. And it's not like I don't know. I don't view this Liv Morgan character as something negative. I think she's just a cunning, vindictive person. But like,
man, I thought you putting the T on the end of that, boy. I was like,
no.
hey, you better watch your mouth.
No, I'm not Max Caster. Yeah, and I just think she's smart. Like, and I don't know. I'm enjoying the Liv Morgan character right now.
I think it's the best that she's been presented in quite a while.
Yeah, and she said she wanted to hawk to that thing.
I don't think she said that.
She said it
She
on
literally did.
social media. Yeah.
Oh, did she? Was that what that was? That video from the weekend?
Yeah, the one that you probably watched on mute.
Yeah, exactly. I watch everything on mute. People send me videos. They're like, "Watch this." I'm like, "Fuck!" Now I got to go find a place to turn my volume up. I don't like phones that make noise. Everyone should have their phones permanently on mute.
Phones shouldn't make noise.
They shouldn't make noise. They should just be in your pocket.
AirPods, man.
Paul, I suggest you go see the Quiet Place movie this weekend.
No, I hate
would
those
love
like that
that.
universe.
Oh,
I hate
I'm gonna
the
go see
commercials.
that.
That whispering guy.
I think I'm gonna see it in 40x. I want my chair to shake around as the
I'm
aliens.
sorry, you're gonna see it in
Shake
what?
stuff
You're
around.
gonna see it with DX? What did you just say?
Yeah, he's going with Johnny Gargano and
Yeah.
Tommaso.
Tommaso Ciampa.
So, yeah, later that night, JD and Finn won the tag titles because Liv Morgan showed up and distracted R-Truth. And some title reign that was, folks.
Yeah, I mean, you knew what that was, man. I'm surprised that damn Theory and Waller still have it. It's just like,
that's who the other champs are.
yeah, it's just like, we
That's
got
who
these
Kayla was
things.
talking to when the
Yeah.
backstage stuff happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think you're going to have those for long.
I hope not, because
I
I
don't
mean, they
either.
need to split Waller away from him.
Yeah.
By the way, what'd you guys think of Miz on commentary on Raw?
He's good.
I thought it was terrible.
Shut your mouth.
I didn't think he did a very good job. I was kind of disappointed.
I will say he did good, but there was points to where like he was doing the unnecessary yelling and everything, so I didn't like that. But I think overall he did good.
But I mean, I could definitely see it being a future for him. Like,
oh yeah,
he wants to.
He does
like, if this was a way of them testing the waters, and he wants to prove himself as a commentator for a, post in-ring career, put him on main event or something, or level up or something like that, and let him
NXT
work on it. And I think he could.
I think it's tricky when he's like on the roster, so he has to like talk within context of being a performer. But I think if you take him off the show,
right,
and just do commentary, he'll probably get better.
Because I mean, he does a sports radio show now already, so I mean, he got some of the stuff down. But I think he just need to, how you guys just said, just separate himself from the in-ring product.
I missed Pat on the show, honestly. I've heard people say that he's not good, but I think he adds such a fun energy to Raw. I like it
at times. I don't know.
I like his energy. He just needs to shut up sometimes.
Yeah.
I like the energy. Just don't be at that level like literally 90% of the show.
I thought he was fantastic his first run on SmackDown. I thought like he made Michael Cole infinitely better. He brought a lot of energy.
Yeah, I missed him.
It was very, very good. He went away for a while, did the college football thing, came back, and there's something off about him. I don't know if it's because like he's not as like committed or in tune with the product, but
I think he's more in tune with it now. He definitely was missing it when he came back.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
The other thing that happened,
me, but he's not.
The other thing that happened with the Judgment Day was Seth Rollins challenged Priest to leave the Judgment Day if he couldn't beat him at or if Seth Rollins beats him at SummerSlam.
Money in the
Bank.
Bank.
It was. Yeah, that's the one.
Let's try it again. So if Priest wins, Rollins can never challenge for the title again, as long as
that's
Priest is
the
the champion. And if Rollins wins, then Priest must leave Judgment Day, which I think is a very good and creative stip to add to the match, because I could honestly see it going either way. Priest could win, and Rollins not being able to challenge him for the title is not, the end of the world, because let's be honest, Priest is not going to hold that thing forever. So he could definitely win. But they are obviously leaning towards, and have been for it feels like 8 months now, an eventual Judgment Day split. So it's very possible that Rollins wins too.
I think Priest wins and still leaves to prove a point.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But-
or we can just get real fucking goofy and let Seth win, and then he'd be like, all right, I'm out of the Judgment Day, but I'm going to start this new group called the Day Judgment.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
The Day Judgment. Yikes.
That sounds like something R-Truth would do.
My bad, y'all.
But
Y'all keep doing what you're doing.
Gunther finally showed up and said
that was a
that
cool
couch.
moment.
he can't wait to see this match because he's going to beat them at SummerSlam. Got that one right. So that's where Gunther's been.
Chilling.
Yeah, I think it's time we finally take a break. This is probably the longest we've gone for a break. But when we come back, I want to talk about Joe Hendry, and we're going to talk about the follow-ups of all of the stuff from last week, and just some kind of some big misses by WWE this week. Right after this.
Introducing the newest show from Fatal 4 Podcasts, it's Didn't Get All of It Japan. Spinning off from the Didn't Get All of It podcast, we bring you a look at the most important happenings to come out of the world of Japanese pro wrestling. That's right, a podcast about a niche subject in 2024. Who would ever think of such a thing?
Make your podcast feed in Gobre Nabare with wrestling talk covering all the biggest happenings on the Japanese wrestling calendar.
I'm Kaz, first-time podcast host, amateur cook. I'm both a lover and a fighter. You might say I love wrestling and romance.
I'm B-Rob, veteran podcaster, but a young lion in my fandom of Japanese professional wrestling.
I'm Will. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Subscribe and make us part of your regular podcast listening, and stay up to date with matters of the world of Japanese professional wrestling.
Available wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/fatal4pod for only $3 a month to support the show, get ad-free episodes, and join the community in our Discord channel.
Follow us on your favorite social platforms at Fatal 4 Pod. That's Fatal F-O-U-R Pod for updates. We'll see you on the King's Road.
All right, we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that break. Maybe go check out the Didn't Get All of It Japan podcast that you might have just heard about. You can subscribe to that in its own feed. Go search for it, like how you search for podcasts. B-Rob hosts it.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's a great way to hear about Japan stuff, which we'll talk more about in the third part of this show. But before we get there, let's finish up the stuff on Raw. I don't know if you guys remember last week, the Wyatt Six showed up and murdered everybody. And then this week on Raw, they had added security, as B-Rob noted. They also had it on SmackDown and NXT. And that security did fucking nothing, including when the Wyatt Six showed up on screen in the middle of the ring when Nikki Cross showed up there, which they pretended wasn't Nikki Cross, which I thought was very odd, considering the segment after was like, yo, this is Bo Dallas. Like,
wait, how did they pretend it wasn't Nikki Cross?
Michael Cole said, like, that thing just handed me this box.
Okay.
So, like, they haven't.
Maybe he's just not a big fan of Nikki Cross, and he just always calls her that thing.
Well, I mean, she has a mask on, and we didn't identify these people as who they were before, so.
Sure. But, like, I know what Nikki Cross looks like. You can put a mask on her, I know what she looks like. I know what the people I work with look like.
Hey man, he's in awe and shock of all the shenanigans.
He couldn't see through all the smoke. That's probably what.
Are you sure, Paul? Do you think if B-Rob, Noah, and I all put masks on, you'd be able to tell who was who?
Yes.
Me and Cody are like similarly, like height wise. I don't know.
No.
Cody's slimmer than me.
No, I can figure. I think that one's pretty easy. But yeah, so last week all these people got murdered. Chad Gable had a little Band-Aid on his head. And it sure seemed like nobody cared. They didn't even talk about like who cleaned up the backstage area. And I'm like, well, this is off to a weird start. There was no like spooky hacking in the middle of the show. All the follow-up was Gable won his match to get into Money in the Bank. And then the music started playing and Nikki Cross showed up and he ran away. And then she gave a box to Michael Cole. And then
VHS tape.
Yeah, this happened.
This is for you kids at home. This is a VHS. We haven't seen these things in 25 years, but it says "Play Me," so I'm going to have to try to get this out to the production truck and see if we've got some old VHS or something lying around. Julie, if you could run that out to me and find out what that is. But this is the damnedest thing I've ever been a part of.
How did it feel when your brother died?
Like the most important thing in my life was taken away from me. Like nothing was ever gonna matter again.
Don't you think you're exploiting your brother's legacy?
All I ever wanted my whole life was to be like my brother. I looked up to him and I wanted to be him. And I worked my entire career, my life, so I could have the opportunity, so I could work there next to him. And we were gonna rule together. And we'd finally made it. We were there and we had it. And then it was taken away from me. There is no one on this earth that feels more hurt than me from his loss. Not one person on earth feels what I feel. But what am I supposed to do? Let him become a mausoleum? Let everybody forget about what he stood for, what he fought for, what he believed in? They wanted to forget about me. They wanted to forget about all of us. We made them remember. We made them all remember.
Yeah, I wanted to forget about all that too.
Jeez.
This is a tough one because I've seen people talk about how this really clicked with them and the factor of him talking about his loss resonated with them. But I also saw people saying that with Bray Wyatt when he said stuff that made no fucking sense whatsoever. They're just marks for weird shit. My concern here is that for people who don't know what that was, Bo Dallas was talking to Uncle Howdy, who was also Bo Dallas, in a room, the Firefly Funhouse specifically, but it was all dark and spooky. And I guess this was trying to reveal why they murdered most of the people and are taunting Chad Gable. Like, this doesn't make a ton of sense in terms of why did we fuck everybody up last week and how come this week they're not? Like, and no one seems to care. Like, this, he doesn't want people to forget Bray Wyatt, so he went and killed a bunch of people who aren't dead now. And that's what Bray Wyatt stood for. Also, am I supposed to boo this man who's sad about his brother?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. Are we supposed to boo these people? Because I don't know yet. So far, they've only attacked a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Are they supposed to be baby faces?
I think at the moment, I think it's like a sympathetic bad guy thing, right? Like you can, he's doing bad things, but you can kind of see like what led him down the path of doing bad things, which doesn't justify the bad things, but you can kind of like see how he got to that point.
Yeah. As a character justification, just from what I've heard of this clip, I mean, like I told you, I had this on in the background. It was on mute. I just seen pictures and faces, but no, I didn't hear the words. So that was my first time hearing that.
As far as a clip down quite a bit.
I know it was pretty long. But as a character justification, I think it was valid. I think it's pretty good. But like, it remains to be seen. I know y'all talked about it when it initially happened because I wasn't here for that episode. But like, this in the WWE sphere is not sustainable.
No,
them doing murdery, killy bullshit with these type of characters, it's not sustainable. It's not gonna fucking last long. I mean, how long will it be until R-Truth is doing comedy skits with them and they're dancing and all kind of other bullshit? I know we're talking about stuff under the he shall who not be, that guy, his reign or whatever, but like still some of these tropes still roll over with the new regime. And it's just like, they ain't gonna just mow through the whole fucking roster. Then why are we doing this shit?
Yeah, and I think really we just need to like get to the point where we ring the bell to like really see how this is all going to come together, right? Even though like the most interesting parts of this will always be like the stuff around the matches, right? But like that's kind of where everything comes together. But also, I think I like the video. I thought the Bo Dallas segment was very cool. I like the aesthetics. They're kind of going for like an analog horror kind of thing, which is very big online. But I will give critique to the Nikki Cross giving the tape to Michael Cole and then walking away thing. I thought the production on that was pretty weak. I thought it could have been done way better. It was all just kind of like long shots at a distance of just like Nikki Cross just kind of walking around. I thought if they put a camera up close to her and like had some interesting angles, it would have come off better. But
and that was another thing too.
I was not in love with
the smoke pouring out of a corner of the ring that you would assume that the person would come out of, but they come out way on the other side of the ring. Just
it was the whole segment just took a little too long and just did not look great.
Yeah, really? I mean, as far as aesthetically, I'm down with all the spooky shit. I think it look cool as fuck. But like, as far as how they're going to perform in the ring, what's next for them, and just their effect on the roster, it's not sustainable. I don't like it.
This really felt like a backtracking because I think they thought what they did last week was really cool, and then when it was all said and done, they were like, that was overboard. And then they came into Raw this week. We're like, why don't we just use a video package and do nothing? Because my concern is, outside of everything you guys said, I find it a little interesting that for months they're able to completely hack the show and put QR codes everywhere and infiltrate the backstage area and put little dolls in places. But
hell,
for some
they
reason,
had even the WWE 2K24 codes.
Yeah, for some reason they can't play a fucking video. They have to have a VHS tape handed to somebody.
Yeah, because VHSs are cool. Again, analog horror. It's part of the tropes.
Why didn't she just appear in the production truck herself and hand them a tape? Like, what is the logic? Is stupid. Just hack the TV and play your stupid video where you're talking to yourself.
Just the logic. It's fucking boring. I don't care. I'm sorry.
But you like the Boogeyman.
The Boogeyman was good. He would pop out, smash a clock on his head, and eat some fucking worms. That's cool. This is stupid. Bo Dallas talking to himself for 27 minutes is boring. I don't care.
But you like Boogeyman.
That wasn't the only thing that they didn't follow up properly on this week. Because last week, I followed up on this properly. Last week, we talked about how I didn't know who Joe Hendry was except for that one appearance on NXT. And I took to the internet on Friday morning and did my homework. And folks, I'm sold. This
That's
guy,
right.
Yes.
I know
Paul's Joe Hendry pill. Let's go.
He is the meme guy. He's still a meme guy. That's fine. I've seen people in the Discord talking about like I don't fucking care. I don't like him. He's a meme guy. What sold me on him, because I want to see if he could actually wrestle. He's a very capable performer. I think if they signed him, he could be U.S. champion in a second, like no problem. Like he's got it. He even did a cutter in one of the matches I watched. It was promptly no sold by Rich Swann, but he wrestles quite fine. I would even lean toward good, maybe not great, but he's good. Like he's good enough. Not blowing anybody out of the water with 4-minute TNA matches though. I don't think that's on him. But I watched his interview he did with one of those wrestling podcasts that is just really long and annoying with a bunch of washed up old people on it. And I was fascinated by the amount of work he puts into this.
Yes.
I did not know that I didn't know he was actually a musician at first. And I did not know that before he got his trendy theme song, like 5 years ago or some crazy, like you'd be shocked how long he's had this music.
Yeah.
Because he just popped off this year. But it, like his whole bit was, I make parody themes to insult my opponents, which is
hilarious,
just awesome. And yeah, he puts a ton of work into this. He's clearly passionate about it and is wildly humble, to the point where I'm like, I gotta respect this guy. He's just so happy to be doing what he's doing, and it is admirable.
Hell yeah.
How did WWE reward me for all this research and for the NXT show they made us talk about last week? They didn't. He didn't show up on TNA or NXT this week. Nobody did. NXT was wildly dreadful this week. There was no follow-up on any of the TNA shenanigans or any, like...
They didn't even talk about Tatum Paxley being on their thing.
No, they did nothing. It was a nothing show where nothing happened except they changed their main event to be a 4-way, which we predicted last week because that's what they told us they were going to do by doing the closing shot with all 4 guys. Total dud of a show. Don't watch it. But yeah, bad follow-up there. This is the bad follow-up segment of the show.
Yeah. But I like everything you said, Paul. I agree with 100%. I listened to some of his interview stuff too. I mean, even like him getting into the analytics of everything, like how he went from music to wrestling and how he tried to apply the two together and just like thinking of ways to evolve beyond wrestling, but take wrestling with him as he goes on that journey. Respect.
Yeah. And he even noted in his one interview, he's like, now that people know who I am, I'm going to have to like prove that I can actually do this. Like to the point where I'm like, I think he's a good wrestler because I've seen a bunch of squash matches that he does on TNA. I would love to see him do a 15-minute match. His match with Kurt Angle was pretty good. Did you know he had a match with Kurt Angle? That's fucking ridiculous. And that was forever ago. He's been doing this for a long time, and it's strange to me that he just popped up recently. And it's even stranger to me that WWE's not trying to get their hands all over him while, the iron is piping hot.
Yeah. I mean, right now he's trying to get on like some UK show to where like he's going to actually perform and shit. And he's trying to generate buzz off of that. And
he's like if Elias was good. Like I would not be upset at all if there was a weekly segment on Raw where Joe Hendry fucking came out and sang and wrestled. But like when it was Elias, you're like, well, at least the crowd's into him. But then he wrestled and you're like, wish he wouldn't do that.
It was funny because like he said he doesn't practice his music. So it's just like he'll only practice enough to get what he needs done, like to record a song. And then after that, he's just like, oh, I done forgot this shit. I need time to recoup and relearn this shit again if I have to use it again.
Well, he's not a full-time musician
anymore.
Right. Well, speaking of NXT and people who aren't doing this anymore, Donovan Dijakovic, or as he goes by now, Donovan Dijak, his old name.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Revealed that he posted on Twitter that he's leaving WWE. They never negotiated with him, despite the fact that we were fed news that they were negotiating. He says that he attempted to negotiate and they didn't reciprocate and never made an offer and decided they weren't going to renew his contract. And he seems pretty bitter in his note. I know he's doing something on Twitch, so I'm curious how it's going to come off, but rightfully so. How did they fuck up with Dijak? He's been stuck in NXT for 7 years doing bullshit. And he was so fucking good when he walked. He was so good when he walked in the door. And this is what they did.
His matches with Keith Lee, his match WrestleMania weekend, like
match he had with Wesley last year.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know how they could never find something for this guy to do.
Yeah, and it's sad.
He was just drafted to Raw. Like, why did you call him up
twice? Twice.
Yeah, he said in his letter that he was gonna get an NXT title shot, and then instead of that, they just called him up and then did nothing with him. And it's like, what is the point?
Yeah, and hey, man, it sucks, but I'm kind of glad this happened because there's so much more now that he can go out there and do, So I don't feel too bad. It sucks to lose a job.
I hate to be this guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're sad because it's shit that you don't watch. I understand that.
No. I'm going to see it because we're going to have to talk about it. It's going to be real sad when he's another branch on the learning tree.
Oh, I don't know.
They ain't going to do that. They already got a tall guy, so they can't do that.
They got two talls.
Yeah, they can't do that. They already got a tall guy.
I mean, I'll be the first person to say AEW shouldn't sign anybody. They should sign Dijak. But they should also like book him well.
I'm going to be honest.
Don't Cesaro the shit out of him.
I don't think they should. That company is way too bloated. He's going to do nothing there.
Yeah, they need to do a hiring freeze at AEW right now.
Like he could go to TNA or something. I don't know, and maybe he makes his way back into WWE in like 5 or 6 years.
He goes to TNA, is immediately back on NXT.
But I, as much as I like Dijak and I really enjoy watching him wrestle, I don't want to see him in AEW. Sorry,
it's a bummer that there isn't an ROH for him to go to. Like the ROH that they have now is just AEW.
Yeah,
like an old ROH where he could just walk back in the door and go and kill it would be
dominate,
so cool.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist anymore. So maybe he just runs the indies, probably makes an AEW appearance, but maybe they don't sign him. I don't know. I hope for the best for him because he is extremely good.
Mm-hmm.
And they just treated him like a good hand for the last year. Anybody else have Dijak thoughts before we swerve into the next segment?
I just wanted
I legitimately thought you were about to ask us if anyone else has diarrhea.
Well,
I don't know. I don't, but like you got to talking about the good hands and stuff. That's an actual tag team in TNA, so you can go hook up with them.
I get it. How inside baseball for them. Well, we were talking about it briefly, but there is a very bloated show coming up soon that we can talk about. Right after this break, AEW and New Japan present the Forbidden Door event. It's this weekend. We'll talk about that right after this. Didn't get all of it and want more of it? Support the show and sign up for the Patreon. For only $3 a month, you'll get exclusive access to Fatal 4 Podcast's Discord, where we hang out all week, chatting all things wrestling, video games, and who knows what. Plus, ad-free episodes of Didn't Get All of It and bonus content that you can't find anywhere else, like extra podcasts from the Fatal 4 and pilot episodes of new shows coming to the Fatal 4 Podcast Network. Your $3 goes a long way in helping keep the show going, so sign up today. That's patreon.com/Fatal4Pod.
right, and we're back talking about some AEW stuff in the lead up to Forbidden Door, this big old card that they have here. But there was at least one thing that happened that was like pretty substantial on AEW Dynamite this week. It opened with Daniel Garcia and MJF. Actually, MJF was in the ring first, and then Daniel Garcia showed up. Talking about how Daniel Garcia was like really bummed that he lost his match against MJF last year, but that like propelled him on to like his like, you know, the really good
his
run
current
that he's
trajectory.
had since then. Yeah, like, you know, having this killer run with FTR, and then just like having like a pretty good singles run apart from, you know, the Jacob Appreciation Society, that whole era of his career. And he was just having like a good like bro sesh with MJF basically in the ring, and then MJF offered like, "Hey, how about we have a match at All In?" And everyone was really excited about that. And then Will Ospreay shows up and it's like, "Hey, I can do you one better. I have a belt that we can fight for at All In. How about we do that?"
And then like not even just offering him a belt. He said that he was going to offer him a title shot for the world title and the what was that, the international title? Because he already under the assumption that he's going to beat Swerve and be the world champ.
Yeah, so hold on. He didn't offer him a match at All In. He offered him a match next week
after.
on Dynamite.
Yeah, after.
Oh right, yeah, at Dynamite, yeah. After Forbidden Door.
Right, after Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Yes. So
yes.
Because I thought this was an interesting segment. The MJF and Danny Garcia stuff was okay. I thought Danny Garcia's delivery was fine. He didn't really blow me away here. I don't know. I know I don't pay super close attention to AEW. I don't really watch the weekend shows, but like, what hot streak is he on? I feel like I've not seen a Daniel Garcia match.
It's all happening on Collision, which is probably why you haven't seen it. But it's been very good. I really like Daniel Garcia.
Okay. I mean, I've seen him do a couple squash matches. Is that all he's doing though, or is he having like legitimate?
No, he's competitive matches.
Yeah, he's having good matches with like competitive people, and like it's on my list for matches of the year. But the cage match he had with FTR against, I think it was House of Black, that was like an all-timer Collision. So yeah, he's been doing it lately.
The idea of MJF versus Daniel Garcia at All In does not excite me, and I feel like the crowd didn't even really react that big to the idea of it. But based on the direction of the rest of the segment, I kind of feel like that's not what we're going to end up getting, and rather we're going to get MJF versus Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I mean, misdirect. I mean, that's what it felt like to me. Is just like, hey, I'm gonna just poo-poo on your thing and make you mad at me, and then we'll have a thing later.
Yeah, because that's the thing is that MJF did get like visibly pissed that Will Ospreay came in and stole his thunder. Yeah,
and then he did like the whole thing, like, you know what, Danny, I ain't even mad at you. Do your thing, boy. And then he just stormed the fuck off.
That's much more interesting to me because having MJF at All In do another like buddy match doesn't interest me. Like I want like MJF versus CM Punk collar match type of like feud for the big stadium show.
Yeah.
So I think him and Will Ospreay could cook something up really good for that.
On the year, Daniel Garcia, 26 matches, he is 20-5.
Yeah. Let's go, Daniel Garcia. So yeah, that was like a thing that happened on Dynamite, and then like everything else was mostly matches that are related to Forbidden Door happening. So let's go ahead and get into this Forbidden Door card. Forbidden Door happening this weekend on Sunday.
I'm sorry, this is not a card. This is a book.
A book of matches.
It's a diatribe, if you will.
That could be added to, because the weekend shows haven't happened yet, because there's still time for Rampage and Collision for stuff to happen.
By the way, Paul, the diatribe would be a really cool finisher for Dijak.
Oh yeah, when he's in the learning tree.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Stop trying to put him under that tree.
I'm not trying to put him under that tree. I think that's where he's going.
No, don't do that.
Well, so we got 0 Hour, the pre-show. So far we have
3 matches.
We have 3 matches. One of them is a trios match with Yota, Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi versus Mystico and the Lucha Bros. Tsuji, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Is this exciting, B-Rob?
It's exciting to me because I love the shit out of
any of these.
Yeah, it's exciting to me because Titan and Yota Tsuji is 2 of my favorites, and Hiromu is awesome as well. But like to see Yota Tsuji in this environment, I'm excited to see that. And we just already been getting a sample size of Titan, which I believe is one of the great juniors of Los Ingros Canapes in de Japón, which I can't pronounce, which I shouldn't try to do that again. But LIJ, Yota Tsuji is like the future. It almost sounded like that, but like Yota Tsuji, my last time we did the award show, he was my wrestler of the year. So like, I'm always high on that guy. And Titan is a phenomenal juniors wrestler. And once you see him hit that freaking springboard tornado DDT, you can be like, oh, that's my guy too. But
Titan was on Dynamite this week. He had a match against BCC. It was like a trios match with 2 other guys, but
every time you guys say that guy's, I'm sorry. Every time you guys say that guy's name, all I think of is Drake on Travis Scott's last album. Titan.
That's right. But yeah, so we got that match. We got the ladder also match on 0 Hour. That's on the main card. 0 Hour also has Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano versus Tam Nakano versus Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe. I assume these are 2 Stardom ladies.
I would assume. I will not confirm or deny those allegations because I am not too into Stardom yet. I've been getting the info fed to me by Cass and Will,
regardless,
so I was just like,
they're
pretty good.
Regardless, it'll be fun to see Willow and Chris clash. Clash.
Why are they?
Crisscross applesauce.
They wear their pants.
I don't like this. Why are they having the first time that these 2 wrestle be in a tag match with 2 random Japanese wrestlers
on a pre-show? I mean,
that's
maybe they won't fight each other. Maybe they'll.
That's just kind of like
teams.
I think it's like a themed wise because like this is Forbidden Door, so there's a lot of Japanese influence and a lot of build-up matches going toward like when 2 opponents getting ready to square off. They do a lot of preview tag matches or whatever. So this is kind of like that.
Yeah. Bad idea. Carry on.
Well, speaking of bad ideas, Soraya's in this company, and she's in a match with Mariah May due to the storyline of the Outcasts, clashing with Toni Storm and her, and
actually,
Mina.
due to the randomization of the Women's Own Heart Cup tournament.
That's right.
Brackets.
Yeah.
This is actually why they're wrestling.
I was going to get to that. I had to let Noah get his thought out.
I like Saraya. You guys need to stop picking on Saraya.
What?
I mean, you can
what
like
is this? Where is this?
Yeah, why?
I like her. Paul likes Paige.
Yeah, Paul likes Paige.
Paul likes Paige.
I mean, he likes to look at her, but beyond that, I think that's it.
No, there's more. I don't think she's that
to
bad.
look at.
You guys need to get over it.
Okay. She actually stinks, and her boyfriend's even worse. So,
well, that part is true.
Well, speaking of getting over, someone who's very over, MJF is having a match against someone I'm very excited to see him fight, which is Hechicero.
Hell yeah!
Let's fucking go.
Are we finally on the main card now? Is this the actual?
Yeah, this is the main card.
Yes.
Okay, great.
It only took 6 matches to cover.
I don't know who Hechicero is.
Again, he's made some appearances on Collision.
CMLL.
Yeah, CMLL guy. He's a great technical wrestler. He's an absolute unit, and can also do some cool lucha flips and stuff. But yeah, me and some of the boys in the Discord are very excited about Hechicero. It'll be cool to
man,
see him fight MJF.
Do not exclude me from
You're
this. I
you're
like him too.
included in the boys.
Oh, I'm the boys. I'm with the boys. Okay, all right, cool. High five.
High five. Also, we got a trios match. The Elite is going up against Hiroshi Tanahashi and the Acclaimed.
Do not recommend. This should be on the pre-show. I know Hiroshi Tanahashi is a legend in Japanese professional wrestling, but the man knees is held together by rubber bands and paper clips. So
okay. I was wondering what your issue with this was, because it seems like on the outside things that this looks, like it'll be fun. But
all-time feud between Okada and Tanahashi, from New Japan and everything. So I mean, it's just rehashing that out, but Tanahashi is way past his prime. He should be focusing on his presidency in New Japan, because he is the president of New Japan currently, and he's still trying to fucking wrestle inside the ring, which you can hear more about if you listen to Didn't Get All of It Japan.
Nice plug.
Daddy Ass on Dynamite was like, I know a lot of executives and I know a president. I totally thought they got Joe Biden for Forbidden Door.
No.
That's really disappointing.
I thought he was alluding to his DX homie.
Well, yeah, I think that was the joke, but
I thought he was talking about Trump. Because he's a Hall of Famer.
True.
Also, we got this ladder match that we alluded to earlier.
Oh my god!
This thing's going to be crazy. We got Mark Briscoe, Dante Martin, Konosuke Takeshita, Jack Perry, Leo Rush, I believe is a new addition to this match, and a wild card.
El Phantasmo, according to this.
Phantasmo. Oh, okay. The card I'm looking at, but he's a blank silhouette, but El Phantasmo apparently has been added to this. So that'll be crazy, I'm sure. I feel AEW ladder matches tend to deliver, especially on pay-per-view. So, and especially ones where Dante Martin is present.
Yeah, he already talked about it in one of the backstage interviews about how he got his leg fucked up the last time. And he's gonna persevere past this and make it a memorable match. But come on, y'all. I have to ask y'all. Jack Perry takes this, right?
I think Mark Briscoe should win.
That'd be cool.
But, yeah, you're probably right, though.
It probably makes the most sense for Jack Perry to win.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the whole reason this is happening because they didn't want to hand him the title, though? I think the idea of him winning it because he in overcoming the odds kind of goes against the
that's true
sneaky heel.
Well, I mean, it's a chaos match, so I mean, they can do all kinds of shenanigans to make it happen.
So maybe Briscoe wins, and then Jack Perry feuds with him and takes the belt off him.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be Takeshita. Yeah, I wouldn't be against that as well. Anyway, let's keep on rolling.
Yeah. We got Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr., which I'm sure will be a very interesting match.
Yeah, that's going to be a hoot. Hechicero just had a match with Zack Sabre Jr. where Hechicero tapped him out.
Oh, shit.
So you need to seek that out, Noah, because I know you like
sounds cool.
Hechicero, and these two toe it up.
Two technical masters. That is the thing I find interesting about this is like Zack Sabre Jr. is such a kind of zipped up serious technical wrestler, and then Orange Cassidy is Orange Cassidy,
a non-serious wrestler.
Yeah.
There's 3 matches on this card that I'm genuinely very much looking forward to, and this is one of them.
Run them down.
I think. Yeah. Well, I'll point out the other 2 when we get to them. Yeah. But Zack Sabre, I've only seen a handful of his matches, but every time I do, I'm wildly impressed. With the stuff he did for WWE, his few appearances at AEW, I've loved all of them. Orange Cassidy's great. I think they have the potential to do something really cool here. I bet he puts his hands in his pockets, and then Zack Sabre contorts him in some way and gets him stuck in his pockets.
Yeah.
Puts him in a submission or something. I don't know.
They're going to down with all that.
we will see. I think one of the more story-wise interesting matches going into this is for the AEW Women's World Championship, Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. All sorts of interesting developments happening on Dynamite and Sundry with them.
Yeah, that was a That was a good segment.
Yeah, this week's Dynamite, they had a big tag match against the Outcasts, which
was pretty funny.
Yeah, and the ending of, Tony, Mina, and Mariah won, and they were celebrating, but then Mina was gonna hit Tony Storm with the bottle of the bubbly? Of champagne, but accidentally hit Mariah, and that's no good. So now we're going into this, and they're all sorts of feelings are being had. So we will see how that turns out.
I just like the intro whenever she came out with Tony Storm. Then she ran backstage and came out with Mina.
Yeah, that was fun.
I hope Mina wins. We desperately need a change of scenery for the women's world title.
It would be interesting.
And Mina's been fantastic. She's like the best part of the whole show.
Dude, people love Mina,
as they should.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I mean, if they don't have her locked down under some kind of thing or whatever, Tony keeping it so they can further the story with her and Mariah May. And I want Mariah May to win.
Did you know that Tony Storm has competed for the AEW Women's World Title at every single Forbidden Door pay-per-view?
That's a pretty cool stat. That's wild. Speaking of,
I'm to put a stop to it.
Yes. Speaking of women's titles, we're going title for title. The TBS women's the TBS champion Mercedes Moné versus New Japan Strong women's champion Stephanie Vakir.
Hell yeah!
Which I'm excited to see this.
Fucking right.
I haven't seen her. Has she had a match in AEW yet? Was it on one of the weekend shows and I just didn't see it?
She's wrestling this weekend.
This weekend.
This
Lady
is the
Frost.
first time. Okay. Or
no. I mean, like she's wrestling on. I forget if it's Rampage or Collision, but she's got a match.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Lady Frost, I think.
Cool. Well, regardless, I will be excited to see her go up against Mercedes. Sure, it'll be a hoot.
Yeah. This is the second match that I'm very much looking forward to.
Hell yeah! High five.
I love Mercedes. She's probably my second favorite women's wrestler of all time. And then Stephanie, I have not seen a single match of hers, but I am wildly impressed with the presentation of her from AEW.
Yes.
The video packages are working. She's got a badass look.
Hell yeah!
I am intrigued by her. I want to see what these two can do.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it.
I'm all about it.
I think Mercedes wins.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
We talk about that in detail on the other pod.
Yeah. Then for the men's tournament quarterfinal for the Owen Hart tournament, we got Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. Takagi, which I do not know anything about Shingo Takagi.
Goddamn beast, man. I mean, he's just like one of the guys that holds the never open weight title belt over there in New Japan, and he just literally pummels and beats the shit out of people. If you ever heard Excalibur, whenever Pentagon he does the his move and he always says "Made in Japan," that's Shingo's move. So,
okay.
So it's just like, oh man, it's just Shingo is good. I mean, it's just not. I've only had the sample size serving of Shingo from just what he's done in New Japan exclusively. He's been, to Dragon Gate and all these other places and just racking up titles and just beating the shit out of people. This is not their first run in with each other. They did some work back in the day, but like it's good to see these two come back around with a full career and just to do it all over again.
Yeah, I don't really know much about him, but I'm a big fan of his dad.
Papa Shingo?
What are you referring to?
Papa Shingo, yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. Well, I'm sure it'll be good. Bryan Danielson's there, and I at least that part of this equation that I know, it'll probably be great. And then for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, we have champion Jon Moxley versus Tetsuya Naito.
Man, a couple years back, you wouldn't have paid me any kind of money bet me any kind of money that Jon Moxley would be IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Let
And that
alone
just happened, right? Wasn't that at a recent event? Yeah,
a couple months back, and let alone be in another company outside of WWE or whatever. So it's just like, it's mind blowing to see all this come to fruition right now. Tetsuya Naito is a freaking legend in New Japan. You know, just multi-time world champion. He is one of the founders of Los Ingobernables de Japón, LIJ. Hey, I said it right, kind of. And you know, he has ties with one of Cody's favorites, Roosh, also Andrade, and just all those guys down in Mexico, because that's kind of where he started his excursion when he started off his career and whatnot. So he got ties with a lot of those guys, and it's just, he's good, but he's also on the fringe or whatever. I mean, him and Tanahashi is riding in that same car, man. Those knees is held together by some kind of, you know, motivational juices or whatever, because like, he on the way out too, man. I don't think he got too much left in him, but like, who am I to say? I'm just a guy watching wrestling.
All right, we got 54 matches to go over. So what's next?
we got. That's
it.
We got one more card on the match. That is for the AEW World Championship, with the AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland versus AEW International Champion Will Ospreay.
And this is the match I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, I feel like undoubtedly this is the match of this card.
Yes,
like there's no universe in which this match doesn't deliver. Like these two are
match
excellent.
Maybe.
I think so.
Potentially. Mm-hmm.
It's in the conversation, and it hasn't happened yet, and it's in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope I'm not dead tired by the time the bell rings at probably 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm sure Swerve keeping it, right?
Yeah, of course. They just set up the MJF program for Will Ospreay, so
yeah. Because like what I think here, and we talked about it before, is just like, I think this is the switch for Will Ospreay. He's gonna get in this match. He's gonna get down into the deep rounds of it or whatnot, and he's gonna whip out that daggone Tiger Driver that he's been saying, "Oh, I'll never use this move again," or you know, it's gonna be the turning point for Will Ospreay, because he's a good babyface currently, but he's a even better heel, and his style is drastically different. I mean, it's still high pace, hi-fi stuff. What it's just more meaner, more furious whenever he's a heel and whatnot. And then the promo work and just the aggression that he exudes, my God, I'm ready for it.
He's the guy.
He's a
and
guy.
This will be the match, I think. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's Forbidden Door. I am excited for Forbidden Door, and I feel like more than Dynasty, they have got a job at building this card, like having at least like a decent amount of stories going into some of these matches. So excited to see it.
Yeah.
Well,
this Chris Jericho.
Thankfully not on the card.
Oh, it is.
Oh, did I miss it?
Did we skip over that? I think we skipped over that.
We did, but it's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
it's good.
All right. Floating Tree and Jeff Cobb versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I that's not on the card I'm looking at. That's crazy.
Well,
yeah.
Great. Love that.
Welcome.
We didn't get all of it, folks. So we'll try again next week. Actually, we won't, because we're off next week. But we will have post shows for Forbidden Door and Money in the Bank coming to your feed following those events. And next week we are dropping the Oops All Emails Patreon that we've been talking about for a while at patreon.com/Fatal4Pod. So sign up for that. It's only $3 a month. You get the Discord, you get the podcast, you get free episodes, all the good stuff. And then check out our spin-off podcast, Didn't Get All of It Japan, for more insight on Forbidden Door and get to know Kaz and Will. Search for it, hit up fatal4pod.com, or if you're an Apple Podcast user, check out the Fatal 4 Podcast channel. It's all right there. But that's it this week. So we will see you later. Happy 4th.